I am Saint, and I'm 3 months into my transition.
I am Saint, and I'm 11 months into my transition. 11 months on T. It's crazy to say that I haven't done that since month 3, believe it or not. It's crazy, I know. It's been 8 months since I've checked in with you guys, and you may be wondering what's been going on. But for those of you who have been following along my channel, you know that I post other videos where I kind of give indirect updates, big milestones like top surgery, preparing for it, going in for it, after it, all that stuff. Just made more sense to do it in that way. So this video isn't going to be the traditional I Am Saint that you saw for months 1 through 3, where I sit down and I talk and I talk and I talk and I talk for like 30 to 40 minutes on end. This one is going to be different in that I'm also not going to give you a full like recap on those months. Like, it would make sense for me to kind of get on here now and tell you what's other things that are worth noting about my transition or transitioning since month 3 till month 11. Today is officially my 11th month on T, which is amazing, man. Time is flying by. I'm 1 month away from being 1 year into this, and I'm gonna save the official full recap from beginning till now, this whole year in review. That video will be next month for my 1 year on T. So for today, we're gonna talk about 3 things. First, what it's like to move up on your T dose. 2, how I prepare my T shots once I get back from the pharmacy, and how I do my T shot, since it is, like I said, today is my shot day and I haven't done it yet, so I will bring you all along. And I'm kind of thinking that this might be how I do it on each anniversary time. If I do continue with a monthly update, I will do my T shot on video. First up, what it's like to move up on your T dose. This is something that I always wanted in the past. When I think back to my other I Am Saint videos, you might recall me saying, I really want to move up on my T dose. Oh, I think it's time to move up on my T dose. You know, every time I would go in on that Wednesday to get my levels checked, I would be hoping that when the results came in and I met with my doctor, he was going to say that I could move up on my dose. Didn't happen any of those times, and I kind of just let it go, and I stopped to realize that, like, just appreciate it for everything that it was instead of trying to like reach that next level. Keep in mind that taking a higher dose doesn't mean more changes or faster changes necessarily. Everyone's body is different, as you know, and your body will do what it does when it wants to. So how did I know it was time to move up on my dose? Now, I didn't know for sure. Like, disclaimer, obviously I'm not a doctor. This is just my interpretation of my own experience and ways that I was able to kind of feel it out for myself, to think that, hey, you know what, let me go ahead and see seriously this time if I can move up on my dose. And these were the reasons why. Number 1, I was having a lot of spotting, probably for about 2 months almost, off and on, and a lot of cramps in that area, and it's borderline depressing. I mean, you think about it, one of the first positive changes that came for me out of my first shot from month 1 was my period going away. So having any spotting really just messes with your mental space, at least it does for me. And it was really hard to just be going through it, because at least when you're having your period, you kind of know how many days that's gonna last. But with the spotting, it's like, okay, I'm spotting, but when is it gonna stop? What's causing it? You just start to really be like, man, it's gonna always happen. I checked in with my doctor, I let him know. He's like, okay, keep an eye on it. If we need to, we can do a check, you know, see what's going on in there, but just keep track of it. Sign number 1 that I kind of figured that something was off. Sign number 2, my mood. I know myself, and I know myself how I had become on T, and I just seemed more irritable. I seemed down. I seemed like I was kind of questioning if anything was really going on anymore, if my body was really taking to, you know, the hormone replacement therapy. It really honestly just kind of felt like, the best way I can describe it is how I used to feel like pre-T, or how I would feel in my trough area, right? Where you know it's time for your next shot. It's that day before, and maybe your mood is down because you're in your low point of that cycle, right? So I was feeling like that all the time, even after I had just had a shot. So that was a way that I was just able to think like, hey, maybe that's another sign. And there's really no real way to tell. Obviously, you go and you get your levels checked, and my levels were still okay. And I was kind of looking at the month by month charts to see like, okay, well, where's the testosterone level now versus then versus all the previous ones. It was time for me to go to my routine checkup again. So I went to my doctor and I let him know everything was going on. Told him, I just would like to see, is it possible to kind of go up on the dose? We checked my levels obviously at that time as well. He said, let's try this. We're gonna move you up 0.1. So I went from 0.5 to 0.6. He said we're gonna try that out for a couple months. And so I'm about a month in now onto this new dose. I have another month to go on testing it, but so far, this is how it's gone. When you move up on your T dose, a higher dose comes with higher responsibility. Higher dose, higher responsibility. Straight up. I didn't realize this when I was taking my new dose, right? So take the new dose, I'm all happy, yes, new dose, I'm moving up, excited, and I do it. Later on, I was having, like my head was just like pounding, like more headaches, kind of quickening of my heartbeat a little. None of these were very serious to where like I needed to go to the doctor right away and like say, hey, this is not working. It stops you in your tracks to make you realize, you know what, those other side effects that the doctors talked about on your very first appointment before you can start any dose of testosterone, higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol, diabetes, this, that, all that whole list, right? Those things are real. I know we probably know that and we accept it as our truth because it comes with the territory of starting testosterone. But those things are real. In the beginning, you're excited. You're like, yes, I'm going to do anything it takes because this is what I need. It's still that way. I still need it. But you need to make sure you're mindful of them still. And really, it came down to not being hydrated enough. Now, obviously, your body has to adjust to taking more of this drug in a sense, but also I wasn't hydrating myself in a way that I should have been, which was a big part of it. I was getting lightheaded, I was more dizzy, I just wasn't doing the things that complement taking testosterone. I was kind of just taking it, waiting for those good effects, but not also trying to like help my body fuel itself. Drink more water. Definitely, no matter what, moving up in your dose or just taking your regular dose. Make sure you're even not taking testosterone. Just make sure you're having enough water. Other things that I would start to do. I've seen other trans guys talk about this where they say they kind of change their whole diet. Like it's a big portion of it. I'm pretty good with clean eating. I always have had that as a focus, but it's even more of a focus to really just make sure that like your body is working at its optimal level while taking a substance such as testosterone. And it really just came even more in the forefront of my mind once I went up on my dose. I have done about 5 shots, I think, at this new dose, and it's gotten better now that I'm more mindful of those things that I just talked about. I'll probably do a few more shots. So in here is where I keep all my shots. Let's see how many more I have. It's probably the way that I'm going to judge right now when I'm going to go back. I have 3 more shots. As long as I'm out of health insurance right now, so once I'm back with health insurance, I'll go in for a checkup to see how my levels are looking on this new dose. When I moved up from 0.5 to 0.6, when they're telling you how much you're going to move on, don't let the numbers play mind games on you. It's not about the number. It's about how your body's going to react to it, how you're going to feel on it. Now, 0.1 might only seem like a small increment from 0.5 to 0.6, but when you look at it, it's actually a lot. 0.5 is up here, right? This is where I was at. I'm now at 0.6. It's like about my finger's height worth of a difference. And that's significant when you think about it. Like, think about it. That's a lot. From 0.5 to 0.6. So yeah, just know it happens for everyone at its own pace, but working with your doctor is the best way you can go about it. My doctor is really great in explaining, what they're looking for in your levels to know if you can move up. You don't want to have too much testosterone because it can just work in reverse. It can offset your estrogen in the way you don't want to. And so you really just want to make sure that you're being smart with as much as you're taking, because this is a serious thing at the end of the day. And so just work with those professionals. So that's how I moved up on my dose. Now, how I prepare my T-shots. I use these 2 products. These products from Stealth Bros Co. This one right here is the junior dop in black, and this one is the regular size dop in black as well. So I store everything in here that is my needles and syringes. As you recall, in one of my videos in the past, I had gotten those things in bulk, so I put most of them in there, and then I still have a backup supply even further than that. And then this is how it looks when your shots are ready. So what I like about this is that it's a trans man operated business. It's a really cool product. I just think it's really nice to be able to support the community. It's nice when the community is making things that we obviously need because they're part of the community as well. So first of all, I just wanted to support for that reason. And then secondly, it's a product that helps out. It really is useful. I love using it. It looks really nice. It's black. It has these really cool design elements, crosses in the inside. Here's what it looks like when the thing is fully loaded. So I'll talk about them while I talk about how I prepare this because they kind of go hand in hand. In this first zip, there is a space for your testosterone bottles. I keep mine stored in this pocket right here. Underneath that is another space where I keep my bandages and some alcohol wipes. Now my band-aids are running low, which is why you only see one right there. But that's where I keep any extra kind of stash, right? On this side is where you can put your shots. So generally my shots will be here. Oh, and they're, already done up. And this is my current day supply. So my band-aid for that shot day, and then the 2 alcohol wipes for that day. Behind this are the Sharps shuttles that I've gotten from them as well. I don't necessarily use these on each one. I usually use my bigger red Sharps container for home. I like to save these for if I'm on the go, then I have those ready for me. Moving on from there, what do I do when I get back from the pharmacist? So first up, take out all my tea bottles. So since I've moved up on my dose, I have more tea bottles to manage at once, which makes it a little bit more tedious. It's just a job you have to do in repetition. So I get them all lined up. When you move up on your dose, so for me, I was already at 0.5, now I'm at 0.6, and it kind of offsets the math in a weird way. Well, at least it did when I was coming off the 0.5. I would end up with, like, even now you can see this 0.1 down at the bottom, which can be really tricky to get out of there. Because of that, I like to just get this all done at once. So I get them all undone out of plastic. And I like to store mine in the plastic all the time just because sanitary reasons. All right, so for this part, I get my alcohol wipe. The one that's previous, obviously wipe that off. And then I just line them all up and get them done at the same time. Boom, that one's done, and then I load it into my bag right here. So I take this one, I put it right in that slot. Rinse and repeat for these two. So it's always easier to pull extra down and then push up whatever you don't need. Keeping these all lined up nice and perfect so I can put them in my Sharps container. Four shots ready to go. I just load them up, I get them in here. It makes it really easy. On my shot day, when I wake up in the morning, I usually do my shot at like 7 a.m. at this point. At night, I get this and this, and I put this out in the area that I do my shot so that when I wake up the next morning, I can just go straight to that area, get ready, and just get it going. All right, let's get to the shot. So before I start my shot, I like to warm my leg up. All right, so right now I have this heating pad. I have a better one, but I'm gonna go with this one for right now. Last week was the left, so this time it's the right. And I like to just get this ready, right? My leg ready. I just mentally think about what I'm getting ready to do, set my intention for the shot, you know, give myself those positive affirmations and just know that I'm gonna get through this, know that I'm doing this for a reason, know that I love how I feel right when it's done, the rest of the day after. Just kind of love yourself through this moment, right? So I just set my intentions for the shot, make sure that I know that I love what's going on, that I'm happy, and that's gonna all be well. Warming it up, and then I grab it. I'm also usually warming it up in my hand like this, and then once it's time, make sure you take your deep breath in, find your spot. That one went really well. Yeah, put everything in here, grab my Band-Aid. This is about to run out of battery, so appreciate y'all for stopping by. Appreciate y'all for being here on my 11th month shot. Catch you guys next month, like I said.